Welcome to the Glow Code podcast. My name is Kate Dove and I'm your host. The Glow Code podcast is a collection of bite-sized conversations designed to help you step into your main character energy, glow up, and connect with your femininity. This podcast is for the woman who wants to radiate her beauty from the inside out and move through the world with authenticity. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, and let's get started. Hi everyone, welcome back. At the time that this episode will be uploaded, it will be 2 days before my 1-year anniversary. And it's so crazy because, first of all, I feel like I just got married yesterday. But at the same time, I have been with my husband, Sean, for 8 years. We met in high school and then got engaged in 2023, married November 2024. So I want to give you guys a recap of the wedding and just relive that day because honestly, everything was so perfect that day. And then I want to share with you guys the top things that I have learned in this first year of being married. I'm not sure how many I'm going to list yet. I didn't sit down and make notes. I really just want to speak from the heart from whatever is going to come up. So with that being said, where do I want to begin? Okay, so when we first got engaged, we were like, okay, let's give this a month and then we'll pick a date and we'll start planning. Well, we didn't do that. We started talking about dates the day after. And I said to Sean, how about November? The reason why I mentioned November was because my grandma mentioned November and she was saying you don't have to worry about it being too hot. It'll be the holiday season, it'll be all festive, and I always thought that I would be the kind of girl to get married in May or June, somewhere around there. But then I was really thinking about November, and something about it just felt right. So ultimately we settled on November 30th, which was the weekend after Thanksgiving. It was 2 days after Thanksgiving, which was nice because he had Black Friday off of work and we were able to spend that day going to the rehearsal. And we didn't even celebrate Thanksgiving last year because we told everybody we just want to relax and chill and not stress out before the wedding because we have 3 families to visit on the holidays and we're always driving around back and forth and it's just so hectic. So we told everyone we're not doing Thanksgiving this year. We're gonna stay home and watch Christmas movies and that's it. And everyone understood. So we did that, and then the next day we had our rehearsal. We got married in a church. We had a traditional Greek ceremony because my dad's side of the family is Greek. At first, I didn't know if I wanted to have that ceremony just because, I consider myself to be more spiritual than religious, but something in me was thinking that if I didn't have this more traditional ceremony that I would come to regret it. And I'm so happy we did it this way because it was a beautiful ceremony and Greek ceremonies are not short. They're not the typical 20-25 minutes, however long it usually is for a ceremony. They're between 45 minutes to an hour. It's a whole journey, but I'm really happy we did that. So anyway, we had the rehearsal. We did not have a very big wedding party, which was nice in my opinion, and I'll get more into that. And then we did not have a rehearsal dinner. Honestly, neither me or Sean were feeling a rehearsal dinner just because we weren't having a ton of guests. We only had about like 50 people at our wedding, and we could have invited a lot more, like a lot more, especially from people that like my grandparents know on both sides of my family. It could have easily been a 200-person wedding, but we had a few rules for ourselves. We thought that, if we're not going to see someone for another 5 years, if we don't talk to someone on a regular basis, then there's really no need to invite them to our wedding. And we just wanted it to be the people that we are closest to, who we keep in touch with. And, maybe we're not seeing them all of the time, but we're seeing them consistently and regularly. That's what we wanted. So we did not have a rehearsal dinner. And I'm very happy we did that too, because I just wanted to be in hermit mode, to be honest, before my wedding. I kind of have this thing where if I know something really big is coming up, I want to just be in my shell, in my energy, and just build up myself before this really big thing happens. I kind of just flow like that. So I knew I didn't want a rehearsal dinner. Instead, what we did was we went to my grandparents' house, and I'm very close with my grandparents, and we just got takeout and we watched a Christmas movie, and I stayed there for the night and Sean went home. So me and my sister stayed up for a little bit. My sister was my maid of honor, and we just talked and we watched movies, and then around, I want to say maybe 9:30, we were like, okay, let's go to bed and try to get a good night's sleep. Terrible idea. I should have stayed up till midnight because I didn't fall asleep until 2 o'clock. I was just so excited with everything that was happening and the wedding was something that was a long time coming. We always talked about getting married and starting a family, and so everything was just coming to fruition. So the next day I wake up at about 6 o'clock, and what do? Just like I do every single morning, I make eggs and toast. My grandfather can get very bougie with food, so he was trying to talk me into why don't I get breakfast sandwiches and croissants and this and that, and just, treat everyone to that. And he did end up going out and getting food for everyone, because slowly the house became filled up. But I said to him, I was like, Pop, I just need to make my eggs and toast like I do every single morning, so that way I can trick my body into thinking that it's just a normal day. And it worked. Just getting up and being my usual routine had my body feeling so calm, and I was looking forward to everything, but I wasn't anxious. I wasn't uncomfortable in the excitement. It just felt calm and steady. I felt good. I felt chill, and I was able to take my time. And the hair and makeup girl came at about 7 in the morning, because it was me and I think four other of us. So I went second to last. At first I was gonna be in the middle, but I really just wanted to have more time to gua sha my face and relax, maybe take a little nap because I didn't get much sleep the night before. And that ended up working really well. Now, I don't want to take too much time with this because I could go on and on about how much I loved my hair and makeup, but I truly was in love with it. I don't think I've been happier with any other makeup look. We did have a trial about 2 months before, and I changed my hairstyle. At first I was going to do something half up, half down, and then a couple weeks before the wedding, I texted her and I said, I think I just want to do simple curls, just keep all my hair down because I know me and I know that after 2 or 3 hours, I'm gonna want to just take out all the bobby pins and let my hair be down and free. So she was like, okay, no problem. And my makeup it was so pretty and it really wasn't like typical bridal makeup. And the reason why is because I have very youthful features. So when I try to do something more glam, it doesn't work. Like if you have either youthful features like I do, or maybe you're short like me, I'm 4'10", it can almost feel like you're playing dress up rather than just feeling like yourself and feeling beautiful. So we didn't do eyeliner. We didn't do any fake lashes. To be honest, they kind of scare me. Like, I don't want to glue stuff onto my eyes and then have to take it off later. So we just went with mascara and we did some light eyeshadow. And then during the trial 2 months before, she gave me the option for what highlighter to use. And she was telling me that usually she uses the pearl highlighter for her brides. But instead, I was like, let's go with the gold because I know gold really makes my skin pop. I have light olive skin, and whenever I have gold highlighter on or a gold shirt, it makes my skin really glow. And I don't even use like products on my face. I know some people really like to have a skincare routine. Honestly, I just get in the shower and wash my face and that's it. So whenever I put on makeup and I put on a gold highlighter, it just brightens me up so much. So we went with the gold highlighter and she was like, oh my god, this is such a great choice. I love it. And then also during the trial, at first she put on like a pinkish nude lip gloss on me, and we took that off and I went into my purse because I always carry around red lipstick, and I asked her if we could try the red lipstick, and that looked really sharp on me because I have very dark hair and I have the olive skin, so the red lipstick just makes my skin pop too, along with the gold. And it also went with our wedding theme. We kind of did, we kept it in line with holiday colors. So my bridesmaids dresses were a deep red, which matched my lipstick, and we also did a little vintage theme, but I'll get into that later. So at this point, I think I've given up my search for finding a pink lipstick because I think red is my color. I think pink just washes me out, and I know what shades of pink I can wear for clothes, but as far as lipstick, lip gloss, lip stain, whatever goes, I think I'm just gonna stick with my reds, my apricots, because every time I try pink, I'm like, this is not me. I look like a Bratz doll, and it doesn't go. So anyway, I was very happy with my hair and makeup. And then we had some of my immediate family come to the house, and then around 1:30, I want to say. Well, first of all, I ate a little lunch beforehand because, again, I know me, I know my body, and I was like, let me eat. So at about 1:30, we took the party bus to the church, and that was a lot of fun. And once we got to the church, I did my individual pictures. I did pictures with my family, and then my sister was keeping in touch with Sean to make sure that like we weren't gonna bump into each other before the ceremony. So then we went into the church basement just to hang out for a little bit while Sean and his family did pictures, and then the ceremony begins. And I was actually very comfortable the whole ceremony. Oh, this was another fiasco trying to find what shoes to wear. I did not know what I wanted to put on my feet that day, I like bought new heels, a very low heel because I knew I was going to be standing up for almost an hour. And then I bought ballet flats because I don't know why. I just wanted to try them. And eventually I settled on just wearing these white sandals that I was wearing everywhere. Like they were my summer shoes. And honestly, part of them was kind of falling apart and I glued it back together. But I was like, I know I'm comfortable in these shoes. I know I'll be able to stand in them for long periods of time. And it's 30 degrees out and these are open-toed shoes, but I'm mainly going to be inside anyway. So happy I went with that decision. I was very comfortable in them and I was not I wasn't uncomfortable in any way. Actually, there were multiple instances throughout this whole thing where I was making sure that I was staying true to my comfort. So another example of this was instead of wearing my veil in my hair, I actually put it over my shoulders. And my veil wasn't a full-length veil because I'm tiny and just having a lot of fabric on me doesn't look right. So the veil that I chose came down to like my lower back when I had it in my hair. But I was feeling really frustrated with how we were going to put it in my hair because there was a comb attached. So at my hair and makeup trial, we were figuring that out and it was just tugging on my hair and it was so uncomfortable. So I had the comb removed so that way I could try to, I had hair extension clips put on it instead, and that was uncomfortable. So then I was so frustrated. I took out the clips myself and I found these golden magnetic clips where like it goes on your shoulders. Like if you want to clip something on your shoulders to your shirt or, just whatever you have on. And actually, when I wore it that way, it looked so pretty on me. It looked like this little magical fairy cape, and I had this very sparkly headband on too. So it just brought the whole outfit together. And again, happy with that decision. I was comfortable that way, and I felt beautiful and magical. So, after the ceremony, me and Sean were taking our pictures, and some of our guests who were like either in our bridal party or our immediate family were waiting in the party bus for us, and they were driving me a little bit crazy because they left so much stuff in the church basement that I had to like run back and get because I think of things like that, like who left their flowers, who left this, who left that, and I knew I had some of my stuff down there too. That's the only part of the day that frustrated me, but once we did all of that, everything was good. We got in the party bus and we went to the reception. For our reception, we did not have it in a ballroom. I've been to a lot of weddings and they've all been in a ballroom, and that's really beautiful, but I knew that having a ballroom would be a waste because there are like 5 or 6 of us that I knew were going to be the only ones dancing, and everyone else was either a little bit older, or just not into dancing. They preferred to just mingle and socialize. So I knew that having a ballroom would have just been a waste. It would have been way too spacious. So we went with a banquet room in a restaurant that we really love and that my grandfather has gone to a lot of times, and he was close with the planners for the events and the owners, so that was all so easy to set up. It was cozy, it was intimate. The restaurant had their Christmas decorations up, and the only thing that we had to do was just put decorations on the tables, and my grandparents got there before me and Sean and whoever else was on the party bus arrived. So we had we had these fairy lights in these golden glass jars on the tables, along with a record player table number. So it looks like a record. Yeah, a record, not a record player, just a record. And it would say, table 1, table 2, etc. And there were name tags like at the front, so that way everyone knew where they were going to sit. And then I had also made up these newspapers with like a word search and fun facts. So we had that on all the tables. And yeah, it was just really awesome that the restaurant was also decorated, because that added a little something and took another responsibility off of our plate. So we got to the reception and we had so much food. Everyone is still telling us a year later, first of all, that they loved the food. We've had multiple people say it was the best wedding they've ever been to. Even our photographer and videographer said to us, like, we're really not supposed to say this, but you guys might be one of the best couples that we've ever worked with, and this wedding is awesome. And that felt really good. So we had a ton of food. We danced. What we actually did for music was we just brought a speaker that my sister hooked up her phone to, and we were allowed to do that. So the restaurant had music going on in the floor below and in the section that was blocked off from us, but we were able to play our own music in our section. So we had our first dance. We didn't do any speeches because I knew that our families really aren't the type to pick up a microphone and make this really heartfelt, lovey-dovey speech. They're just not like that, which is cool. So we just didn't do that. And we had the chance to be able to go talk to everybody. And then we ate, we danced. Honestly, I couldn't even eat a lot because there was so much food. I got full just off of the appetizers and the starter pasta dish. So I took my food home and I said I'll eat it tomorrow. But I didn't have dessert at the reception. I waited until we got home and then I had my dessert. So the reception was about, I want to say 5 hours-ish, and we did take more pictures there, and then we took the party bus home. So the bus dropped off some of my family members, and then it brought us home. So that was really nice. We came home, counted our wedding money, and then we put our pajamas on, we took showers, ate some dessert. Yeah, and that was that. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I'm missing, but I think that's about it. Yeah, so the next day we woke up a little bit later, obviously. So we didn't leave for our honeymoon the day after the wedding. We left on the following Monday. So we got married on Saturday, we stayed home Sunday, and then Monday we left for our honeymoon. Highly, highly recommend doing that because on Sunday I was so tired and I had a bit of a headache for half of the day, so I just needed to nap the day away. That's what I did. And then I was able to eat my leftovers from the wedding for dinner. And then we went on our honeymoon, and that was really great, even though half the time we were like, did all of that really just happen? Are we really on our honeymoon? This is just so much. But we enjoyed it, and we had a great, great time. Okay, so now getting into the top things that I've learned. Because we both grew so much in this first year of marriage, and I know for me individually, there has been so much healing packed into this 1 year of marriage. And the first thing that I want to mention is learning how to not be reactive. I think that it can be easy to slip into wanting to prove yourself right, wanting to be defensive, and doing all of that because you want to be heard, but not realizing that it's not going to get you the result that you want. And we're not the couple to like argue. But when it comes to disagreements, we can both get very uncomfortable because neither of us enjoy chaos or like it or anything like that. And so we really had to, when difficult conversations would come up, we really had to push through them without projecting onto one another. And I'm actually very proud of us for being so young. I'm 24, he's 25. For being so young and mature when it comes to these situations and maintaining this level of control. Now, that doesn't mean never releasing your emotions, because if I'm feeling upset about something, I'm just gonna cry. And then, like, if you need to get your anger out or anything like that, you can take the space to do that. But the important part is not projecting it onto your partner, because at the end of the day, you both want the same thing. And there's actually a lot of instances where we'll be talking about a subject and I'll feel one way about it and he'll feel another way about it, but it turns out like we're both saying the same thing, but in different ways. So also keep that in mind, that you both might have different styles of communicating, but at the end of the day, you both want to reach the same goal. And the way that you do that is through regulating your nervous system, through allowing yourself to feel safe even in the middle of chaos, so that way you can reach a point of clarity. And that clarity may not always come right at the end of that conversation. It might take a few days or a week or however much time you need, but if you're able to not be reactive, you'll get there. Because also, by not being reactive, you're able to hold space for your partner. You're able to let your partner know it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to share with me what is really on your heart and mind. And you might not always like what they're going to say when they share their true feelings with you, because you take a hit to the ego in a way. And you're like, am I really doing that? Am I really that way? No, I'm not that way. I don't do that. But that's part of the healing process, is being able to recognize that your relationship and your partner are mirrors for you. And by being able to authentically and openly share without a fear of punishment or being judged or shamed, that helps you to reach clarity and get to your goal. And I know that not everyone may be in a situation right now where they feel like they can do that, but I feel like that's where learning about things like trauma healing and nervous system regulation really come into play, because then you recognize that your fear and your anger or whatever you're feeling are just ways that your body is trying to protect you. And if you know that both you and your partner are maintaining the same sense of, I guess like a level of processing, like if you know that you are both intentionally being aware of your emotions and your tone, then that can help to ease things and to help you both express to one another and come up with a solution. The second thing, which kind of ties into this one, but getting comfortable talking about sex. And I'm not just saying how often are we talking about sex or how good is it. I mean, I know that's like a blanket statement, but instead recognizing that your sexual relationship is a reflection of the things that you may crave in other areas of life. And we are both under the impression that the human body is this vast, like, ocean to explore, and that there's always more to learn, and more ways to keep expanding pleasure. So that allows you to set the tone for, we expand in this relationship and we allow our intimacy to be a reflection of that. I'll be honest, I am more of the slow one in the relationship to try new things and to get comfortable with something, which is so funny because I write spicy romance and I could write all day long, but then when it comes to talking, I'm like, I don't know how to talk about this, I don't know how to put it into words, and I just kind of become a little bit shy. But I definitely think that writing has allowed me to be more open about things and to give my husband an idea of what's on my mind and what I might like and how I perceive different things. So if it's a little bit difficult for either of you to talk about, I think having a creative outlet is a really beautiful way to start having these conversations and asking each other why. Not just why do you like that, but what about that makes you feel fulfilled? What about that makes you feel excited and curious? Is there anything about curiosity that scares you? Because we can look into this when we do it through a creative outlet as well. Whether we are painting something or writing something, or maybe we are learning a dance to a sexy song. And all those things can make us feel self-conscious, and so I think that those allow for a broader conversation with the themes that come with being intimate, of exploration and curiosity and feeling comfortable with one another. The final thing that I want to share is allow space for your partner to be an individual. I noticed for a long time that I was really trying to project my spiritual and emotional beliefs onto my partner without realizing that, how do I want to put this? Without realizing that he feels things and sees things the same way I do, but just through a different lens. And this goes back to, like, you and your partner may be thinking that you're both saying different things when you're actually meaning the same thing. So now when I'm telling my husband about something, I'm recognizing, like, okay, this perspective works for me, and he's gonna process the information in a way that makes sense for him. Another thing, hobbies. So, for example, he likes to go paintballing. I'm not into that, and I'm okay with just being at home, reading a book, baking muffins. If you heard that, I got excited and slapped my thigh. But I just enjoy reading a book, baking muffins, and calling it a day. I think that sometimes jealousy can come up when our partner is wanting to do something that maybe either we don't like or that we feel not included in. But I actually think that allowing yourself to have different hobbies makes the relationship stronger, because if you are both able to fill your own cup, then you come back to the relationship feeling happier and feeling much more fulfilled. Like, I know if I were to go paintballing with, like, him and his coworkers, I would feel so out of my element. I'd probably be miserable and I really wouldn't enjoy myself. Versus, like, same with him, if he were to, I'm trying to think. See, the thing is, he actually likes some of my hobbies, so I'm trying to find a good example. This one's gonna sound really cheesy, but, like, he might not want to come shopping at Ulta or come to Home Goods all the time, but like that's okay because I like to do those things. Actually, the Ulta one was not a good example because when I go into Ulta, he helps me find my colors. Like, he holds them up to my face and he helps me pick things out. So maybe that wasn't the best example. But like a really obvious one, for example, would be I enjoy pole dancing, and men can pole dance if they want to, but that's not his thing. He might joke around and do like a little turn on it, but he doesn't need to be into that like I am. So I know that's more of a drastic example, but it goes to show you that hobbies are very important in a relationship, and you don't need to do the same things together. You just need to appreciate the things that either of you are into. This one might be a more popular or relatable example, but I know he loves video games. He's a nerd. He likes to go on his computer, and sometimes I'll joke like, oh my god, you're spending too much time on your video game. But you know what that does for me? It gives me time to sit down and read that smut book that has been on my shelf for 6 months. That is what that does for me. So also recognize that if your partner is wanting to dedicate time to their hobbies, that's also an invitation for you to do the same. And then now you both have things to talk about too, and you can talk about what you learned, what you enjoyed, and bring that excitement into your relationship. All right, I think we are going to cap things off right here. And also, just as a reminder, the spicy Christmas romance book, Me, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, is coming out December 2nd. I was not planning on doing a Christmas book this year, and the idea just hit me randomly on a Tuesday night at 11 p.m. So I went with it, and it ended up being even better than I originally imagined. It is fun. It has all of the hot cocoa North Pole vibes. You can find the link down below to pre-order if you are listening to this before December 2nd, or if you're listening to this after. You'll be able to either get the book on paperback, Kindle, and it'll be available on Kindle Unlimited. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always, and I will see you in the next episode.